4 seconds, 6 seconds, 8 seconds in, 10 seconds in. We are live. Okay, great. We are live. Hello, everybody. Welcome. I don't need this here, so I'm just going to go ahead and I think the most important thing about the article that we're going to watch is said in the very first minute, like right at the 1 minute mark of the video. And it's just a very important fact that it basically ties it all together as to why the EU is doing what they're doing. But you need to see the video. You need to actually put your eyes on the people who think that they have the right to determine how other people living in other countries on another part of the world are allowed to do business and obtain their energy or sell their oil to other countries. It's not your country. Okay, you're in another country.
Big Merc.
Hey, Merc, you're in another part of the world.
Yo.
What makes you think that you get to pass a referendum determining what other countries do with their oil pipelines? Huh? You claim it's because you don't like their human rights, you don't like the way they treat their people over there? Hey, look no further than the United States, or look at the UK. Look at Brexit. Look at our border. Look at how we treat our immigrants. Go take a drive through downtown Los Angeles and go check out the poor people living in the streets. If you're so fancy over there in your parliament and making your stupid rules and your referendums, I digress. And I want you guys to just see them take this referendum. I want you to see this vote happen. Watch this.
Western media has slammed the Uganda-Tanzania joint crude oil pipeline project, which could relieve the impact of the energy crisis on Africa, with the EU accusing Uganda and Tanzania of human rights violations and climate pollution. The pipeline, at around 1,500 kilometers long.
The EU is blaming African nations for climate pollution. I mean, you can't make this crap up. It's so, you can't even wrap your brain around it. One of the largest polluters in the world, right, is going to look at African countries which barely emit any climate pollution at all compared to these large industrialized nations. They're flying jets all over the place, right? Claiming that these countries are polluting. I don't even have to get into the details or the specifics of that. Do I? I mean, you obviously know the EU puts out way more CO2 than any of these other countries do. They're not industrialized. It's hilarious.
Would help utilize Uganda's massive oil reserves and also supply other countries through the port in neighboring Tanzania, helping to return oil prices in the region to stable levels.
Get ready.
Back in September, the European Parliament voted to issue a resolution condemning Uganda and Tanzania,
Here they are,
sparking a backlash in the countries, which accused the EU of affronting its independence. As a result, the European Parliament rethought its approach and
these people right here think that they have a right to determine what other people of a different skin color in another country, in another part of the world, do with their oil and their energy. It's hilarious. And I hope that all the people in Africa look at the EU and give them the middle finger and tell them to sit and spin. I really do. We're going to build a pipeline. We're going to have oil. We're going to make some money, just like you guys have been doing. And you don't get to tell us we can't do it because you guys are just as shitty to your population as we are to ours. You don't get to tell us what to do, based on anything that you come up with. Because what they came up with was actually not the real reason. Everybody knows the real reason that they're doing this. It's because money. Because the EU makes a lot of money in Africa selling oil, obviously. Dealing with that. And this is going to take away their money. It's got nothing to do with human rights violations. Nothing to do with human rights violations.
Overturned its decision, greenlighting the project. We spoke earlier to a journalist from the Exchange newspaper who says the pipeline can benefit all parties, but the EU doesn't want to have a constructive dialogue due to its own business interest.
Oh, they don't want to have a dialogue. They don't want to talk about it due to their own business interests. Oh, well, I thought it was human rights violations. No, it's not. The reporter said, no, it's not. It's their business interests. And of course, that's what it was. It's what it always is. It always comes down to money for these people. Hilarious, right? Anyhow, Tanzania can tell the EU to go fuck right off. Okay, it's their oil, and they can do with whatever they want to with their own oil. They can make a pipeline. They can, just like big boys of the United States and Russia and Germany and the EU do, and they build pipelines and they distribute oil and they do war and everything. Hey, man, these countries want to do what they want to do too, and you don't get to tell them what they can and can't do. I just kind of wonder. I'm not getting any chats at all, except there was just a yo from Merck. How do you guys feel about that? How do you feel about the EU? You know, the European Union telling people in Africa
Roasted
that they
garlic
can't
berry.
make money with their oil, with
Hey,
their
Nate.
own reserves. Hey, RGB, what's up, son? How's it going? So I'll ask you, since you
Roasted garlic
just got
berry.
here.
I just got here.
So the EU is,
Nick Brown.
hey, Nick.
Good morning. Edwin
baby.
Sparks 420. Yo,
Hey, Edwin. So,
Big Merc 83. There should be some kind of world law passed where nobody is allowed to police outside of their own country.
yeah, right. Oh, no, that's globalization. We don't want to have globalization because, the black president, Barack Obama, suggested it. Can't globalize anything. You know, it was actually a really good idea that he had. Globalization is a
Friendly
good
food.
idea, you know.
Africa could use every kind of energy platforms, including nuclear power plants. Also, Transaqua project to use Congo water in Lake Chad. China has offered to help fund this project. We move toward sovereignty of all nations for the good of humanity. Big Merc 83.
Fernley, too. Thank you.
Let's start the Global Liberation Army.
Join me on Twitter at Nays Garden, please, Fernley, too. Thank you. That was a well-written chat. I like getting those, so thank you so much for that. You know, that says one up there. It says that there's one person watching the show. I think I know why it says that. Here. There you go. We'll X11 that number right now. We'll multiply that times 11. So, you know, what I said was, who the hell do these
Stella
people
Lewis.
think they are? Good morning,
Good
honey.
morning, Nay.
I said, who the hell do these people think they are? You know? We could watch the other 3 minutes of that clip, but it's not necessary. You get the picture, and I don't have to bore you with it. You guys understand what that is. That's just like America going over and bombing the Nord Stream 2 pipeline of Russia. You know, you don't get to tell other countries
Merc
what they can and
83.
can't do.
Libtard 01.
Libtard 01. Yeah, I tried to do a copy pasta in Jimmy's live stream last night, but I couldn't get any of you guys to copy the pasta. I was like, they're not going to play ball, are they? Oh man, it looks like I'm the only just a single noodle. I did a copy noodle instead of copy pasta. It was just a copy noodle, just me. Oh, that's okay. Whatever. You guys are going to support what you think is important, you know? All right, there's other stuff going on. Zelensky is saying he wants to talk peace. Yeah. Hey, Do you remember like a
Big Merc
week ago when
83.
Zelensky was saying, we will never surrender until
Bro,
you
I
give us
tweeted
back all
after
this
6
land and
times,
blah,
fuck
blah,
a
blah,
whole
blah, blah.
bunch of
We're not going to do
retarded
anything.
ones with
And you
stolen
guys need to
lizards
nuke
and all
Russia and
kinds
blah,
of
blah, blah.
stupid
And you
stuff.
need to do this
But
and
this
you need to
chat
do
was
that.
flying by so quick when my stuff was going on.
Oh, you didn't tell me that you copy pasted for me, bro. I never saw it. I never saw another paragraph go by. But thank you. I didn't realize you copy pasted me, bro. Thank you. Okay, great. I guess we did copy pasta. Good. Good. It doesn't matter. I mean, it's no big deal. It's just he used a troll account. He got caught. He's anti-Semite. We know that now. It kind of breaks my heart. But but according to Fiorella
Big Merc
Isabel
83.
and Jimmy Dore, the Jews
I had
run
my
Hollywood,
Chromebook open and was jumping back and forth having fun with my phone.
It's the Jews. They do it. They run it. They run the whole thing. It's all the Jews. Okay. Zelensky sets conditions for genuine peace talks with Russia. This is from the Wall Street Journal. A little publication you may have heard of. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky said he was open to negotiations with Russia if they're focused on safeguarding Ukraine's territorial integrity, compensating Kyiv, and bringing to justice perpetrators of war crimes. Yeah, that's not going to happen. So you've already lost. Is this the problem? This is the problem with Zelensky is he thinks he's walking into a negotiation with all the chips on his side. That's what he thinks. And it's the exact opposite. He doesn't have anything to bargain with. He's lost everything. If anything, the best thing you can do right now is to just be nice, ask Vladimir Putin what he wants from you, and you better fucking do it. That's where you are. You don't get to negotiate. The time to negotiate was months ago when Vladimir Putin said he wanted to sit down and talk to you. And he did. And you ignored him. And Biden ignored him. And, for all the years that Barack Obama ignored Vladimir Putin too and made fun of it and thought it was all funny and shit.
Yeah.
He's got you guys bent over the fucking barrel. And now you're going to have to sit there and take it up your asses until you figure out what exactly Vladimir Putin wants. I don't know if you saw the news over the last few days, but things aren't going so well for Zelensky over there. And if, now Elon Musk is allowing Russians to tweet again, so you get on Twitter and you can actually get tweets from Russians inside Russia, and it's amazing. There's actually all kinds of great stuff out there that you can see that you haven't been exposed to for over a year. But now it's out there. I retweeted some stuff and you can check that out. I guess if I'm going to make a point about Zelensky, acting like he's in a position to demand things from Putin, I just respond with this. Really? Really? Oh, you're a fucking asshole. Fuck you. You allowed, your own country to murder ethnic Russians for years, dude. You don't get to just walk away from this. He's destroying your capital. He's destroying your infrastructure. He's going to take out everything he can. Oh, and they're finding all these people that were buried, all these graves they're uncovering, and they're finding all these people that the Russians killed, and they're wondering where all these people were, and blah, 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 blah. It's crazy how beat you really were when you didn't want to admit it. When the bodies start coming up out of the ground, then you start counting the numbers, and then you realize, wow, the Russians really did do a lot of damage. It's not like they were cutting and running from nothing. They actually left a trail of death and destruction behind them. And this is not the end of it. And now I saw a kid from Russia posting this morning out of Russia. He's like, hey, man, this is just getting started because all the Iranian weapons are just getting here. And he's like, you think Putin's just going to sit on those? He's going to level that freaking country. That's why they're evacuating Kyiv. That's why the general from Ukraine has changed his tune. Zelensky has changed his tune. And it's all happened in a couple of weeks. And I told you it was going to happen. And there's nothing that United States or the EU or anybody else that's trying to cheer this war on can do that's going to be able to hide the facts that are now coming out of that region. And you're going to have, at some point, you're going to have exposure to all of it. not just from my show. They're gonna have to start report, just like they've had to report everything eventually on the news. You'll see it. All the stories will come out, and you'll see how awful this really was for Ukraine. You know, they never had an advantage over fucking Russia, dude. You know, it'd be like if the United States started a war on Alaska, basically. And now, you know, Russia's claiming some of that territory as their own. So now Ukraine's gotten even smaller and Russia's gotten even bigger. And a lot of those people that are in those regions of Ukraine, they support Russia. They speak Russian and they love Vladimir Putin. And they feel like he's come in there and saved their lives. And in a lot of cases, he really has saved some lives. You know, he's cost some lives, but he saved some lives too. Some innocent people get to live. And there was a report from 2017 about the resurgence of Nazism in Ukraine. And I saw this. I was like, oh, this is from 2017. They were talking about this, how popular Nazism is starting to grow in Ukraine, and people are joining political parties with swastikas and all kinds of cool stuff the mainstream media doesn't want to tell you about. RT is out there. Twitter is out there. They're now allowing you to interact with Russians. And you haven't heard from a single fucking Russian in a year. I recommend you get on there, and when you see characters that you don't understand and they kind of look like English, go look at their tweets and go see what they're saying. And you know what? If they're making sense, go follow them. You might even want to like and retweet some of their stuff. Go educate yourself on what's really going on over there. You know why? Because what goes on over there directly affects us over here. And you might not think, you're like, oh, I ignore all that shit. Well, okay, tell me how your fucking gas prices are going to go. Tell me how your food prices are going to go. Your supply chain is coming in. You know, we've got all kinds of other things to worry about right now. This is the last thing we should be worried about. And it goes back to what Barack Obama was pushing down our throats, globalization. And if only we had listened to that, and if only we had realized how important globalization really was. You know, when we're all helping each other and working with each other on this planet. We were getting there. You remember Ronald Reagan and Gorbachev? They had a peace treaty and they were scuttling their nukes. And then what happened? We decided we wanted to go back to war. It wasn't exciting enough for us. You know, I guess people just need that in their lives. Send your children off to die, man. I'm not doing it. You know, 5,000 of you sent your kids off to fucking Ukraine now. You excited about that? Big tough American soldiers, all 5,000 of them, up against 200,000 Russians, hardened Russians that have already been fighting for a year. And you're going to put green American troops in there? What do you think's going to happen? What do you think's going to happen when these missiles arrive from Iran? Who do you think he's going to be aiming those things at? Ballistics. You know, taking out city blocks with a single missile. Huh. I don't know, but he might be looking for where the 101st Airborne is chilling. And I wouldn't be surprised if you see a rocket attack on them. He better get them boots on the ground and scatter them out, Biden. Because if you've got troops sitting, I guarantee you Putin already knows where they're at. Hey, just me doing this, trying to save some American lives here, man. I know it's not going to do anything, and I know my voice doesn't make a difference. But it's still fun to pretend, you know. I'm playing pretend right now. I'm playing make-believe. Let's make believe people actually listen to this show and give a fuck. Isn't that funny? Don't you guys think that's funny? I think it's funny. Oh boy. You've driven me to the point where I just don't care about people anymore, man. When I started this, I didn't give a fuck about anybody. And then I started getting to know people and shit, and I started caring, man. That was my mistake. The last 4 or 5 years, I don't know what I was doing. I was actually giving a shit about people, and I thought I could make a difference, and I thought I could help people. And I went into this whole thing. I was like, I'm going to try to make a difference in people's lives and make it better. And then, you know, I thought that people were going to see that I was doing that, and then my audience was going to support me and amplify my voice, and they didn't. And so now I'm just like bitter and I just don't give a fuck anymore. So now you're just watching a bitter man just slowly dying on a fucking podcast 3 times a day. That's all that's happening over here, guys. I say it with a smile on my face because it's funny. It's so fucking pathetic. Pathetic. Okay. I had fun on my Chromebook open and was jumping back and forth having fun with my phone. Okay. What else is going on? Prosecutors use Oath Keeper's own words against him in heated cross-examination. Yeah, that's funny. We're going to keep going. So, the voting is gone massively red, because this is what the Democrats have done to themselves. This is what the Democrats have done to themselves. It's nobody else's fault but the Democrats. And, Joe Biden, it's his fault. Kamala Harris, it's her fault. Everybody that supports them at the White House, the press, the podcasters, all of them. They're a bunch of fucking idiots. And, we're going to watch them all get beat. It looks like this red wave is a real thing, man. If I believed in God, I would say, God help us all at this point. We're in big fucking trouble, and there's nothing that's going to help us when these Republicans get into power. Nothing. And you better fucking hope Ron DeSantis or Donald Trump doesn't become the next president of the United States. You better fucking hope. If you give a fuck, if you give a fuck about people, people who are poor, disadvantaged, homeless, life's going to get real miserable. They're going to be criminalized. Just like the immigrants are going to be thrown in jail. And if you thought it was a prison planet before, just wait. We're in for a hell of a fucking awakening. And it's too late, It looks like to me we're going to be swept up by Republicans, man. It's what it looks like. It's not good. When early voting is turning out the polling saying that the Republicans are sweeping, you're fucked. The Democrats are fucked because that was the only thing the Democrats had was their early voting. And now they don't have that anymore. And then all the Republicans show up on voting day. So now what are you going to do? Student loan debt forgiveness, you fucked that one up. You lied. You said you were going to do it. You fucking didn't do it. You said you were going to get a minimum wage. You didn't fucking do it. Did they ever pass minimum wage in this country? No, it's still $7.50, right? Yeah. Well, that was going to be your number one thing, right? Minimum wage. You didn't do shit. People are struggling financially, and it's your fault, Joe Biden. It's your fault. People are going to hold you accountable, and they're so pissed off at you that they're going to be willing to put another cunt in there like Donald Trump to represent us again, just to show you how fucking angry America really is at you. Just to really rub it in yours and Hillary Clinton's fucking face, because they know, and Nancy Pelosi, and that's another thing I want to talk about, Nancy Pelosi.
Ben Roach.
Hey, Ben.
Good morning, Nay.
Good morning, buddy. Let me talk about Nancy Pelosi for a second. Does she really think that after neglecting people and watching people live in the gutter for years in this country, under her thumb as Speaker of the House and a representative out of California, does she really think that people give a fuck about her personal life? That's hilarious. And let me tell you something. All the morons that are on Twitter that do support her, you guys are fucking idiots, and you're not going to make anything better for anybody. You need to hold her fucking accountable for her actions and not give her all this sympathy. What, are you going to go eat ice cream with her? I see a lot of that. I see a lot of support for her. I see she's come out. She did an interview with Anderson Cooper, finally. All I see is some dumb bitch who I don't give a fuck about. I don't give a fucking a rat's ass about. Couldn't give a fuck what happens to her, her husband, her children, her family, any of them. I don't give a fuck about her. You know, think about all the Americans that are suffering today under her rule. You know, oh, that's the extent of your power, is ripping up a piece of paper because Donald Trump said a speech, you didn't like it? So you're going to rip up the paper? Oh, you're so powerful and mighty. You've done nothing. And because you and Biden and Kamala Harris and Hillary Clinton and fucking Bernie
Ben
Sanders,
Roach.
all these motherfuckers have
She is
done
crap.
nothing, you're going to pay for it in this election now. If there's any satisfaction that you could possibly pull out of Republicans
Fried drive.
becoming the new leaders of this land,
Morning.
it's that at least
I
the
just
Democrats
looked up
get a
who
big
raised minimum
fuck you in their
wage
face for not codifying Roe v.
Believe it
Wade
or
under
not,
Barack
it was
Obama.
Bush.
You know? It was Bush that raised the minimum wage last. Wow. Dude, how many years ago was that? Jesus fucking Christ, Billy. Thank you for sharing that. That is crazy. I'm in utter shock over that right now, that you just said that. Where's the chat at?
Fried drive. 2009.
Unreal.
Fried drive. He worked for a year and a half.
He worked on it for a year and a half? Huh. What is going on with that? What is that? What was that? That must be the viewers, right? Okay, maybe it's on the wrong page. Oh, yeah. Chat. Here we go. There it is. There it is. Cool, man. Cool. Oh, God.
Fried drive. And Obama took the credit as it didn't go in effect till he was elected. Ha 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 ha.
He took credit for the freaking minimum wage. Whatever. $7.50. We can all remember Barack Obama by $7.50 to this day because it's still there. It's like a big shitty pile of shit fucking tribute to the man, you know? Here's your measly $7.50 for an hour of labor. Now go fuck off. Wow, man. Wow. I think it's time to move on. Let's move on, shall we?
Fried drive. 7.25 actually. The second quarter was needed for pointy shoes.
Is it 7.25? It's such a slap in the face, man. That's what I made when I was working a little job, dude. When I was 30 years old, 20. When I was in my 20s, dude, I was making $7.50 an hour. I got up to like $8, I think.
Bill Bradley.
Hey, Bill.
The federal minimum wage for tip jobs is $2.13/HR.
For tip jobs, $2.13.
Fried drive.
It's crazy.
Yup.
You know, all politicians need to get on minimum wage right now. Let's tweet that. All politicians fucking pass the goddamn bill. All politicians to get minimum wage. Good idea? All politicians should get minimum wage. Good idea. You know, no one's going to see that fucking tweet because Twitter's going to make sure to hide it. But, you know, if people saw that, they'd like it and they'd retweet it if it just showed up in their feed. You know?
Ben
so
Roach.
Maybe you guys could retweet that for me
May
and,
after
and
today's
spread it
elections,
around.
we're going to see a diff America. It can't get any worse.
It can't get any worse.
Fried Drive. Yes, you can pay servers less.
It always
long,
gets
but the
worse,
average
Ben.
Tip brings it up to 7.25. That's about $2.
God, that's fucking crazy. That is crazy. Huh. So they're thinking, there's scientists is hypothesizing that the more you get infected with COVID, the more your immunity gets worn down. So, you know, but, you know, Jimmy Dore says go run out and live your lives. Be free. Go see a Jimmy Dore live show. Don't wear a mask. They don't work anyway. That's what Jimmy says. This woman was hospitalized for lung problems, right? So she had a test. They test her positive for COVID. And she says to her, told her friend, she's like, oh no, the lungs didn't have anything to do with the COVID infection. And her friend's like, what? She's like, in case anybody was wondering if that fucking whole disinformation thing is working or not. Yeah, it is. Wow. Yeah, I've got some lung issues, I had minor COVID. This is how people are rationalizing this shit, man. The minimum wage hasn't gone up in 13 years. Bush was 13 years ago?
Fried Drive. That's why not tipping is technically theft. Even though the laws don't allow for that.
13 years ago. Holy shit.
Giving servers no more rights than Midaville slaves. Always waiting for that stray farthing.
It went up when Barack Obama became president. That's what you said. Okay. That's when it finally went into effect. My bad. What else is going on? Anything? What else am I looking at here? Roger Waters slams Bono. You know what he said? He's like, U2 sucks, dude. Fucking Pink Floyd's way better. I'm sure it was political. Whoa. Wow. Some... Oh. this girl at a college tried to punch this other girl while she was calling her the N-word. So the other girl grabbed her by the hands and wouldn't let her punch her. And this girl stood here, kept calling her the N-word. She pleaded not guilty to 4th-degree assault without visible injury and other charges. She pleaded not guilty. All right. Okay. What did I do to you? You know what the girl's response was? It's what you are. Dude, what the fuck is wrong with this shit? Fuck you. It's too bad that the girl that grabbed her by the wrist didn't throw her down on the ground and fucking smack her head against the goddamn concrete like she deserved. You know, it's too bad. Because she was twice her size. You know? That girl couldn't do anything to that woman. But it all got caught on video. What else? Anything else going on here? It's election day. It's election day. That's all everybody's talking about.
Cannabis hells. Need a little bully beat down.
Right? Right? Adam Krigler talks about leaving Timcast. Ooh. I kind of want to hear this. Because fuck Tim.
And that's how Timcast IRL started. I mean, technically it started years before. And then, I started the show with him and it went viral. Like, we were absolutely crushing it. And then some things happened and I was fired from
Big
the Timcast show
83
in August.
That's me. I'll only fight bullies and super heavyweights, those over
really
400
loved
pounds.
Being on stage, I love the
Nick
people
Brown
that followed me. I mean, there was a lot
Tim
of people
Toole
that supported me immediately after it all happened, and I have a pretty successful daily show. I mean, I
no law regarding
I'm
cannabis.
not
Everybody,
getting the numbers that I used to.
Top of the hour.
And
Cheers.
I also know that YouTube, like you talked about algorithms and how it pushes you down, and it's like, I think I'm doing as well as I am because of the people that support me, because they show up for me and they look for me because they know I'm going to be live with or without notifications. They're like, all right, I know Adam's going to be live. I'm going to his page.
He's got a fucking UFO on his desk.
I'm very grateful for the people that follow me, and
he's
I
an idiot.
really love what I do. It's a lot of fun. I get to read about a lot of stuff. Sometimes I'm frustrated by what I'm reading, but then I get to talk about it. And I've just cranking it out now, you know.
That
Big
must have been
Merc
tough.
83
Departing from
Cheers.
Timcast, man. I'm sorry you went through that, and we don't have to talk about it any more than the extent that you feel comfortable.
Pride Drive.
I mean, I didn't want to.
I survived mustard gas and pepper
I
spray.
didn't want to leave. A lot of
I'm
Are you
people.
still
teasing
buddies
now.
with them?
It's funny.
No, we haven't spoken in I don't know, probably a year now.
There you go.
We don't talk.
Now we know what kind of a person
Sorry
Tim
for that,
is.
man.
He's a piece of shit.
He basically made it clear to me that we are not friends. So
Wow.
I'm not. I don't.
Wow.
I'm not a victim. You know, I don't have a victim mentality. I absolutely love my life. I love where I am. I have my own house now. I have my own show.
Adam, you've got a picture of a UFO with an alien in it behind you on the wall. It says Adamcast. You're a fucking cuck bitch. You believe in UFOs. You've made it your whole podcast's slogan and logo. It's weird. I'm just saying. It's obvious to me that you're
Fried
a
Drive.
fucking worthless human being just
Wow, they're
based
so
on
captivating.
the fact that you're so
They both
popular
speak in
that
E
you
flat.
work for Timcast and that you fucking believe in aliens and UFOs. It's kind of pathetic. You're actually kind of a pathetic guy. I'm just going to say you're an idiot. Just right off the bat. But I'd love to hear how Tim treated you anyway.
I have my own audience that supports me.
They both
I
speak in
have
E
people reaching
flat.
out to do interviews with me, which is really cool. You know, it's like,
They both wear the same
couldn't be happier.
glasses.
I didn't want to stop the show.
Like, they could trade glasses and you wouldn't even know.
Offered a really good balance between of opinions, right? You know, we didn't often agree, and that's what created such a good dynamic between the two of
Sure,
us.
I enjoyed it.
Thank you. And I don't know, it's not what he wanted. Clearly, you know, I
He
think
wants an
that,
echo chamber. Of course he does.
Well, I think that I made him uncomfortable live, and it's not what he wanted. I think he wanted to be surrounded by. He wanted to be the smartest person in the room.
Isn't it weird that he's got a plaque behind him that says Oath Bringers? What the fuck is that? Billy, you want to look into that? What's Oath
Fried
Bringers?
Ha ha ha, they both got the same Zenny gift card.
It sounds like Oath Keepers to me, doesn't it?
Well, good for him. You know, he has that now, and
Oath
I
Bringers.
never want to be the smartest person in the room. I think that's such an arrogant style of being, you know, to require that and surround yourself with.
I never want to be the smartest person in the room. I mean, said no smart person ever. You know, are you fucking kidding me? I never want to be the smartest person in the room. What if you are the smartest person in the room, dumbass? You ever think of that? God, you must have a low fucking IQ.
Less than, you know, it's like I want to be surrounded by people that make me better. You know, Tim, I owe a lot to Tim because I didn't know.
Dude, I got
anything
news
when
for
I
you. People
started.
don't have to be smarter than you to make you better. Okay? Some people just do things better than you. Doesn't make them smarter. Just makes them righter.
That show with him, I was not political.
Sure.
I didn't pay
Well, I mean,
attention.
he's like a locomotive. I mean, you just can't stop him.
I know, yeah, and I don't know anyone who works harder than Tim. You know, he's a freaking.
He's a greedy little bitch.
workaholic.
Yeah. He's a greedy little
He needs
bitch.
to tone it down a little bit, but I mean, we don't talk anymore. So, like, honestly, I don't even care anymore. Like, I'm just focusing on my life. So,
This is great.
So
how
What spurned this on was this is a great interview technique. The guy on the right, the interviewer, he says to the guy, he's like, I don't want to get any further into this than what makes you uncomfortable, than what makes you comfortable, he says to the guy. And then there's a silence. He gives him a moment. And he's like, well, be comfortable. He figures out what he's comfortable with and he starts talking. Great interview technique right there. Excellent. He's getting a lot out of them.
A lot has changed on these platforms since 2016. It seems like after Cambridge Analytica, all the social media platforms just went like buck
Fried
wild
Drive.
in terms of updating terms and monitoring
Oathbringer.
content.
That means
and I don't
guys
know
that
if
show
it's-
up with
if
new
it's,
rules.
You know, it was
Ha ha, hey
caused by
guys,
Cambridge
Hippie
Analytica, or it's
Waldo
just sort of
and Preppy Waldo brought a pamphlet.
Hippie Waldo and Preppy
Sean,
Waldo brought a
aka
pamphlet.
Trendy Orca. Morning May.
Lumberjack Waldo and Preppy Waldo. I love it. I love it, dude.
a coincidence that there was that sort of correlation.
But the guy on the right is
Catalyzed,
total Waldo. He's got the hair.
That behavior from these platforms. But how was it that, you know, Tim Pool and you were able to just start doing a fucking podcast and blow up? Because, you know, many people have tried and failed. And
Big
what's the secret? I want to know how. This is my question. How is it that you and Tim Pool got so popular and got so many people to watch you when it was clear you didn't know what you were talking about? You lied almost all the time. Your sources suck, and you're definitely right wingers posing as independents. Yeah. And, and everything that goes with being right wing. I mean, you're anti-LGBTQ, you're anti-black people, you're anti-women's rights, you're anti everything that the fucking Republicans are. You know, how did you do that?
Well, it was a combination of multiple things.
Yeah. How did you find that many stupid fucking people to follow you? I'm just dying to find out. I don't want stupid people following me, and I guess that's my problem. I guess that's why I only have how many people right now? 18 people watching. Okay, 18 people. I didn't know what 5 plus 3 was. It's 8. There you go. Boom.
Is obsessed with understanding the algorithms. Like,
there you
obsessed.
go. There you go.
Things needed to be perfect. Things needed to go out on the correct time. Things needed.
There you go. Well, he learned. This is exactly what I tell you guys. Now I hate fucking Tim Pool, right? I fucking hate him. If I could spit on the man, I would spit on the man. Okay. I fucking hate Tim Pool. But this is the point that I'm always making to you on this show every day that we're live. I always say this. Hey, man, every once in a while, you're going to find somebody that you fucking hate, but if you listen to them, they're going to say something that makes sense. And you're going to get something out of that. So don't just disregard people because you don't fucking like them. Pay attention to what they're saying. You might learn something. I'm about to learn something here, and you're all going to learn something now, too. You know what you're going to learn? You're going to learn that Tim Pool is where he is today because he did the exact thing that I've always said to do on this show, which is you want to win the game, learn the rules of their game. That's what Tim Pool did. Play by the rules of their game. That's what Tim Pool did. Beat them at their own fucking game. That's exactly what Tim Pool did. He beat them at their own fucking game. I fucking hate him, okay? I severely dislike Tim Pool. At the same time, I gotta show him a little respect because he took YouTube and Google and told them to go fuck themselves. He's like, look what I'm gonna do. I'm going to lie to all of your users, all the YouTubers out there. I'm going to lie to them, and I'm going to convince them of bullshit every day. And they're going to come flocking to me because I'm going to use and manipulate your algorithms and your techniques and your stupid thumbnail, your thumbnail template. And do everything that I know is good that the algorithm is going to suck up to. And I'm gonna destroy over on, and that's exactly what he did. And I gotta give him credit. I gotta give Tim Pool credit for that. I don't like him. I really, 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 really don't like Tim Pool, but at the same time, gotta give him credit.
I know his
sucks to be me right now.
Style, or I know what he does to, like, I don't want to say manipulate the algorithm, but use it to his advantage. And
FJI Rocks
and he's been working YouTube
Clickbait.
for.
Well, and FJ Rocks, for Tim Pool, it's not so much clickbait because he literally fucking delivers what he says he's.
FJI Rocks T. Just like you without a shirt.
Oh, really? Is this what attracted you to watch my podcast because I wasn't wearing a shirt? Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. That's hilarious. I think you're the first person that ever came in here and actually said, the reason why I clicked on this was because I saw you weren't wearing a shirt.
Almost a decade at that point. And that coupled with the fact that I didn't agree with him, that
FJI Rocks
was already well known, right? And then finally you have a live show
that made me laugh
communicate with him, where there's someone else there that's actually actively dunking on him, and like the chat's like, finally someone to tell him no, right? Someone to like say the things that other people have been wanting to say. Like,
actually
I don't agree with
very
you,
often,
and
I very often will consider putting a shirt on before I go live because I know that people find this offensive. I know that. I know I'd have more viewers if I wore a shirt. I know that, but those aren't the kind of viewers I want here.
And didn't agree with Tim.
I want the ones that aren't so offended by my appearance.
Standpoint on whatever I think about, right? I always take a stance, and I'm okay with that. Whereas he's famous.
Then they're more friends,
and wants to be like thread the needle, and it's like it's very hard to be non-biased nowadays. It's almost no such thing. Like no news is really non-biased, right? I mean, it's there is some very rarely
Patrick John
do you
Welder.
find a site just
something real shady about not getting our power
of what's happening without adding
Cannabis
some
hells.
sort of racial bias or
real people
skewing it in a certain way.
Patrick John Welder.
And sometimes Tim
Powerball
can
numbers
handle that or do that sometimes, but when it comes to certain aspects of politics.
You're at the
for
same
example, I was
disadvantage
very-
as every other
FJI
person.
Roxy.
right? I was like, he's the
Been
only
watching
answer.
10 years
Like,
or so
we
on
need,
and off.
like,
If I was
he has
easy
been doing
to
a great
offend, I
job
wouldn't be
after
here.
Look, man, I hadn't listened to anything he said in the last minute because I've been up in my head. But what FJ just said kind of took me out of it. He says he's been watching for 10 years on and off and was easy. And if you were easy to offend, you wouldn't be here. Look, FJ Rocks T, I don't recognize your name. Have you participated in the chat before? Or you just kind of been watching and not leaving comments, or under another account or whatever. Welcome to the show. I do this 3 times a day, every day. I'm easy to find. 3 times a day, every day, across the entire internet. You'll find me on almost every social media platform. I'm live on Rumble right now. I'm live on Twitch. I'm live on Facebook. I'm live on Twitter. I'm live on YouTube, of course. D Live. So, feel free to tune in to your favorite, Odyssey, which I may have turned Odyssey off, actually. I turned Odyssey. I'm not live on Odyssey right now, but sometimes I'm live on Odyssey. But I go where the viewers are, and if Rumble starts picking up, and more people start coming in,
Billy Valentine.
I'll go to Rumble,
I don't find it offensive. I steal screenshots and have started a pay site around your nipples. FJI Rocks T. Im a trendy as dabber brother.
Dude, that
FJI
is so
Rocks T.
fucking funny.
That far back.
I can't believe you said that.
Big Merc 83. Nays is your favorite podcaster's favorite podcaster.
Nays is your favorite podcaster's
Nick Brown.
favorite podcaster.
If people get offended by no shirt, then they need to evaluate themselves.
If people get offended by no shirt, then they need to evaluate themselves. Well, we actually, for some reason, we know some pretty skinny dudes who don't like it. They get a little offended.
FJI Rocks T.
But for me,
As he closes the blind.
it's more of a comfort thing, because if the sun comes through these windows, it gets warmer in here and I get uncomfortable, man. And I know what's going to happen. As soon as the sun starts coming in, it's going to get hot. I'm going to have to turn the fan on, right here, because I'm drinking coffee and doing bong rips that are high content THC. So, it's heating me up. I'm getting like adrenaline, rushes here and there. And
Cannabis hells. They probably never go to the beach.
no, where they live, they don't have a beach. And, their skin is very, very light because they don't get outside a lot. They don't get a lot of sun. But I'm not here to offend anybody. Should I smoke some orange bud? I wonder what that's going to be like. Not have to worry about a seed. Just pop it in there. Crunch it a little bit with the thumbnail. You like that crunch sound, guys? And I'm sorry, I rewound this a little bit because I didn't hear the last minute. So let's go ahead and hear what else he's saying here. I'm very interested in this stuff.
Whereas, he's famously a fence sitter and wants to be like thread the needle. And it's like, it's very hard to be
FJI Rocks T.
nowadays.
Oh,
Cheers,
shit.
bro.
Cheers, FJ Roxt. You're a trendy as dabber. You're from way back. Wow, you're one of the old viewers. Dude, you were subscribed to the... Can you do me a favor? Can you go to my main channel on YouTube?
Billy Valentine.
FJ?
I was saying that to the wife. We call it the sun, but in reality, it's a fucking star throwing radiation through a magnifying glass directly on your areolas.
Will you do me a favor, FJ, and go to my main channel on YouTube, it's Nays Garden, but it's the one with 25,300 subscribers. Not too long ago, it was 25,600 subscribers. It's funny. I saw a video where I was talking about that. but it's down to 25,300 subscribers now. If you would please unsubscribe and resubscribe to that channel, turn on all notifications on the main channel. And you might, I don't know if you'll get notified from that channel or not, but also I'm on Rumble at Nays Garden if you're on Rumble. So I was trying to pull the Rumble page over to see if anybody was ranting over there. And so far, not a single comment on the Rumble. So let's go ahead and keep listening to this, and let's do a bong rip too while we listen to the video.
No such thing. Like, no news is really non-biased.
FJI
right? I mean,
rocks T.
there is some
This
very
gonna
rarely.
kill you, but they unsubbed me.
No, dude, it doesn't kill me at all. Everyone in my chat. Well, God, Merc, will you please make a clip of this and send it to @YouTube creators too, please? For years, we've known that they've been unsubscribing actual accounts like yours from mine and so many other channels. I've watched my subs go down every day. They go down, they go down, they go down, they go down, they go down. It's criminal what YouTube does to the subscriber counts, and they deny it when you talk to them about it. They act like it's not a thing. But here, once again, guys, we have someone live in the chat that has been unsubscribed from my main channel, and they're here telling us about it live. He's not a bot. He's a real person. He's been watching me for 10 years. And you wonder why, why doesn't anybody ever show up to your live streams anymore when you go
FJI
live?
rocks T.
It's not me.
It's a fact.
It's not me, man. So, it's the snowflakes at YouTube that decided to start subverting subscriber counts. It's all a lie, and they're all a bunch of liars. All right. No law regarding cannabis. Cheers.
You find a site just specifically tell you the truth of what's happening without adding some sort of racial bias or skewing it in a certain way. And sometimes Tim can handle that or do that sometimes, but when it comes to certain aspects of politics, for example, I was very pro-Trump, right? I was like, he's the only answer. Like, we need.
I'm going to stop it right there. So you hear who this guy is. He's pro-Trump. He's the answer to all of our problems. Donald Trump. That's what this guy is saying. Just so you guys know who you're listening to.
Like, he has been doing a great job. After I did a deep dive on Trump, and I learned a lot about like his family life, but also his policies. And I'm like, damn, he's actually like a stellar president. Like, imagine if the entire government wasn't actively trying to ruin him. Imagine how much better America would have been then, right? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. It was just kind of
wow, kind of like the way Mitch McConnell scuttled every single bill that Barack Obama tried to put forth. Oh, you're not going to talk about that, are you? You fucking racist cunt motherfucker, are you? You motherfucker.
People were thirsty for knowledge as well, and Tim is very knowledgeable about a lot of things. You know, his facts, not his opinion. I'm talking about like what he factually knows. So a lot of people came to him for that. And then, so the podcast, you know, the dynamic that we brought to the board made it more explosive, because not only were people getting that knowledge from Tim, they were getting, you know, we had a friendship, you know, we laughed a lot. I made fun of him all the time. You know, he would poke fun at me. And
do you guys hear it in the background? We had joy, we had fun, we had seasons in the sun. You just hear the fucking music in the background.
It didn't matter because we were friends, and
we were
disagreed
friends,
a lot,
we
and
held
we were still
hands,
friends.
and we
right?
loved
That was like
one another.
that was and I actually told him after he fired me, I was like, you know, the shittiest part about
Billy
this
Valentine.
is you're proving everyone.
How rare is it to have two Waldos from two different universes in the same
discourse. You can't disagree with
Unprecedented.
people because you're firing me. Is basically disproving that. Like, we've been showing everyone that we can disagree, and it at the end of the day, we're still good. And he basically shit on that, right? And I have actually never said that about what happened, but it's true. You know, that's one of the biggest things that why I didn't want it to end, because we were showing people what civil discourse looked like. And we disagreed all the time, but then we still jammed out every Friday. You know, we had like some jam nights where he would play some songs, I would play some songs, and it was it was cool, right? We still
We
laughed
had
about
joy,
stuff.
we had fun, we
So,
had seasons
Yeah.
in the
So-
sun.
so-
Billy
Me
Valentine.
and
I'm gonna
Tim,
ask
we
this
were
question, and
friends.
I'm waiting
obviously
on
you
my
don't have
oath
to
of
We
answer
Adam.
like
it,
to
but I'd be
do some
remiss not to ask.
stuff.
It makes sense to me that, you know, if someone's trying to build a personal brand and scale a podcast, it makes sense that,
Dude,
me.
that's so funny. Where's Waldo? Well, they're both right here. How rare is it to have two Waldos from two different universes in the same spot? Unprecedented.
why they would be particular about who they have
It's a
co-host their
typo.
show.
There's two
and how
Waldos.
makes
It was
them
a
look,
typo.
and whether or not they're, I don't know, it's a conflict of interest to have somebody that's disagreeable, not disagreeable, but, you know, disagreeing with you all the time. But that doesn't explain to me, like you said, like why the friendship was extinguished. That, you know, why wasn't the conversation just, hey, this isn't working out for where I'm trying to take the show, but I'd still love to be friends. Like, why was cold turkey just out of your life?
Great question. He's getting right into it now.
And you don't have to answer that. I just
don't say that. Don't say that.
Yeah, there's a lot that has happened behind the scenes,
Okay.
and it wouldn't benefit me. You know, I wouldn't be vindicated. I feel like a lot of people who followed the entirety of.
I gotta give this guy credit, man, for being a Trump supporter. A lover of Donald. He literally loves and worships Donald Trump, and knowing that. The fact that he's not willing to throw Tim Pool under the bus at this juncture right here, where he's got every opportunity to do it. And you heard what he said. He's like, well, you know.
Big Merc 83. Clip.
Really? Am I going to have to check out a clip? You guys, please follow Big Merc on Twitter so you can retweet those clips, man. Please. Please, man. His clips are great. I'll go check that out in a second. You've got a guy like this that loves Donald Trump and worships Donald Trump at the same time. You know, here he has an opportunity to throw Tim Pool completely under the bus. What he just said was I could reveal some of the behind the scenes things, but it doesn't serve my interest. You know, it's probably actually end up working against him because this is why. Because it's a he said situation. And and Tim Pool has plenty of supporters, and he just doesn't need the aggravation of trying to convince you of something that even if he convinces you of the fact that Tim Pool's an asshole, guess what? Everybody that watches Tim Pool, whether you love him or hate him, you think he's an asshole anyway, because he is. It's just like Alex Jones. Whether you watch him for the fact that you love him or you watch him for the fact that you hate him, you still know he's an asshole. And you can love an asshole. They do. This guy loves Donald Trump, right? So understand that he realizes that, you know, after studying Trump, he realizes that, you know, going after a figure like Tim Pool and revealing, you know, things that he said or whatever, and as true as it might be, it's not going to help him at all, and no one's going to fucking believe him anyway. And he makes a really good point. So I got to give this Trump lover. He is a Trump lover. I got to give him some credit right here for this, you know?
What happened between me and Tim.
We had joy.
They kind of already suspect what has happened. No one knows because a lot more happened than people realize. And at the risk of exposing some stuff, like I don't really want to get into the details, but you know, I was slighted, and I don't know. I don't want to expose it. I don't want to talk about it. I mean, it's been so long, and like for me to, if I am ever gonna like explain what happened, I'm gonna do it in I don't know,
concept album.
Yeah, I mean, a concept album. That's funny. No, I mean, I'll do it on my own channel. You know,
sure,
I'll do it in my own way. You know, it's just.
I wasn't trying to be pushy or anything.
No,
I just felt like it was my obligation to ask.
I mean, if you know, going to interview somebody, you know, that is something that a lot of people want to know. Of course, I don't blame you for asking. So, and I don't want anyone to feel like they can't.
What's that?
Ask me anything because
sure,
I'm in control of what I want to say. So, you know, it's I'll just say that it's a shame that it happened the way that it happened because I didn't want it to happen. And I think that I mean, we don't follow each other anymore, and I really don't care. I don't need Tim Pool. I am very strongly in the Adam Krigler boots. You know, I'm happy being me. I'm not trying to be Tim Pool. A lot of people have said that, like, oh, he replaced you with Ian, and like Ian's like wish.
I wonder if anybody ever calls him Mini Tim.
.com version of Adam, and it's like,
how dare you not think of that,
so
Mini Tim.
It's like, you know, Ian is not. We're not the same person at all.
Right, different guys. I've interviewed Ian on the show too.
Yeah, I mean, and I think Ian's great. I've nothing.
Really kind.
Ian. Yeah, he's very kind. Yeah, I've always liked Ian a lot. Like, him and I got along. We jammed together. He's kind of crazy in like the best way.
Yeah, it's very endearing.
Yeah. So
oh, this guy loves him.
It's demeaning to
very
Ian,
endearing
when people, compare that, because like the dynamic that Tim and I had was very unrivaled. Like, it was a different show. It was something. It was Tim and Adam, had fun, not Timcast, right? But this is the thing. Like, Tim knew exactly why he wanted me on his show. He knew who I was. We'd known each other for many years before we started.
Bottom of the hour, folks. I mean,
he reached out to me. There's a reason he wanted me to join him, because he knows
that
we had a good dynamic, and we proved it. It's like we were crushing it. We were having like 60,000-70,000 viewers on a regular day, on average. 500,000 people a day would show up throughout the night throughout the show. And that was just me and him talking about the news, right? And it's like,
Billy Ballantyne.
I don't watch
Nobody
the show,
wants to address
really
the fact
the
Elon discovered that most blue check accounts were fake government accounts. Now they have no choice but to funnel $8 a month into Twitter.
So people that already had a blue check now have to start paying for it?
And there's like, yeah, like they've only beat your
guys.
Last the numbers of your last show with them. We had 80,000 people that were watching concurrently, and that's
Billy
nuts.
Ballantyne.
80,000 people concurrent.
Yes.
And it was like almost 600,000 people. Yeah,
Is your
and
Discord
that was just
public?
Me and Tim chatting about news.
FJI rocks
that was it. It was nothing special.
Cheers.
And it was like
Discord.
Alex Jones came on and they beat that, and then there was like a Joe Rogan Alex Jones meetup or something that beat that. There's like maybe 10 shows since I was fired that beat our best day, just him and I, right? And it's just like, that sucks, Tim. Like, you freaking shot your own show down, but like, hey man, you're the smartest guy in the room. I hope you have a good time. Now I get to chat with awesome people. I get to I get to interview people myself, which I love it. I get to like hang out and talk to people and find out who they really are. Tim stole Ian. Someone in chat said that. It's actually true. Tim told me to not have Ian on as a co-host, that he was a threat to my show because he might say something crazy. And I was like, screw you, dude. I like Ian. Like, I'm going to have him as my co-host. And then I had him on as my co-host for 2 weeks. And then one day, Ian doesn't show up to my show. And I'm like, I wonder where Ian's at. Like, whatever, I'm just doing my show. And then I like go upstairs and he's on the fucking Tim show. And I'm like, what is this?
We
like,
had
what?
joy,
like,
we had
you
fun,
told me he was a threat.
Seasons
and I said, screw you. I'm having him on my show anyway.
Tim
Ian and I had a good dynamic, and it was fun. Like, we were hilarious.
We had something beautiful, and Tim destroyed it, and now I'm sad. So it's hard to have any sympathy for a Trump lover, but at the same time, it's interesting to hear that insight. It was very interesting. Oh boy, here we go. I was just talking about this, and now there's an article about it. Look at this. Can you believe this shit, guys? It's like I am the news, man. Russia's heavy casualties in Ukraine spark outcry and rare official response.
FJI rocks T gemstone.
This is
Cheers.
the Washington Post. So this is exactly what you would expect to see right now. Oh, I don't know. Yeah. No. Criticizing, this is interesting. Criticizing the war, even calling it a war rather than special military operation, is illegal in Russia. What's the punishment if you call it a war? Billy, can you verify that?
Patrick John Welder. Just saw the video of Ted Cruz getting a beer can thrown at him. It was almost a headshot.
Ted Cruz somebody threw a beer can at Ted Cruz. Did he do a George Bush shoe maneuver? Shoe fly, I'm George Bush. Fly shoe, I'm George Bush. My God. Here we go. As a result of the carefully planned offensive by the great generals, we lost about 300 people killed, wounded,
Patrick John Welder.
And missing, as well as half the equipment
at the
in 4
Astros
days.
parade. No, the guys around him knocked it away, but Ted claims it hit him in the neck.
Oh. Nearly 6,000 miles range. The weather turned worse. Telegram of the weekend. The embarrassing defeat. I love this. The embarrassing. Are you guys reading the rhetoric as I'm scrolling through it? It's a violation. Vladimir Putin says it's a violation of international law.
Billy Ballantyne. I don't see anything else on it. I keep getting midget tossing articles.
I'm sure you do. Why don't I doubt that? So you're in the Discord, bro. And your Discord Your Discord comes up on our chat. It looks like, I guess your name looks like FJ Rocks. I can't tell what that first letter is. Oh, it's an exclamation point. J Rocks. What's that at the end? A T? It's hard to tell. You remind me of Trailer Park Boys, J Rock.
FJI Rocks T Gemstone. LMAO.
Gemstone.
FJI Rocks T Gemstone. Fart.
F-A-R-T.
FJI Rocks T Gemstone.
I see it.
J Rock Baby.
I see fart. You're right. Fart. F-A-R-T. J Rock. I guess I'll just call you J Rock.
FJI Rocks T Gemstone.
Okay, so out of everything they said about all these embarrassing defeats that Russia was suffering, they only claimed there were 300 deaths. And then they say this: due to the competent actions, this is from the Russian release, due to the competent actions of the commanders, the losses among the Marines over this period do not exceed 1% of the combat personnel and 7% of the wounded, a significant part of whom have already returned to duty, the Russian Defense Ministry said in its statement issued on Monday.
Billy Ballantyne. If I had to explain my namey 3 times to every person, I'd name myself one.
I know, right? Billy Ballantyne. What's a Billy? What's a Ballantyne? What's a fried drive? What's a boozin' bozo? What's a friendy? What was it? Friendy Grays. What's a Nay's nipples? Unreal. Now look, I'm subconsciously covering them up now. Look at you. Look what you did to me. Unreal. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to see what Merck clipped on Twitter. Why you clipping? Why you clipping, Merck? What you clip, Merck? Murky Merkster. Why you clipping? For years, we've known that they've been unsubscribing actual accounts like yours from mine and so many other channels. I've watched my subs go down every day. They go down, they go down, they go down, they go down, they go down. It's
Billy Ballantyne.
Criminal.
Look me up on
does
MySpace.
to the subscriber counts.
My
and
name
they
there is
deny it
simple.
when you talk to them about it.
It's
they act like it's not a
5
thing.
Olivia and
But
me and
here,
Mush
once
Dogs.
again, guys, we have, once again,
787.
have someone live in the chat that has been unsubscribed from my main channel, and they're here telling us about it live. He's not a bot. He's a real person. He's been watching me for 10 years, and you wonder why, Nay, why doesn't anybody ever show up to your live streams anymore when you go
FJI
live?
Rocks T.
It's not me.
It's a fact.
It's not me, man.
Nice.
For years, we've known that they've been unsubscribing actual accounts like yours from mine and so many other channels. I've watched my subs go down every day. They go down, they go down, they go down, they go down, they go down. Dude, that's great, man. Thank you. At YouTube creators. Yeah, bro. 6.6 million followers. At Team YouTube. There's a whole bunch of them, dude. There's YouTube Gaming. There's YouTube Music. YouTube creators. YouTube India. There's a bunch of official YouTube. There's a bunch of official YouTube sites, bro, on Twitter. So I sent it to almost all of them just now. That clip. Thank you for making that clip, Merc, bro. That's your name on MySpace. Mush Dogs. Okay, so here we go. Ron DeSantis is trending in Florida right now. Charlie Chris, the number one tweet comes up, says, "Today is the day we vote Ron DeSantis out." 11,500 tweets. I've got to like that and retweet it because I voted. Actually, I mail-in voted for you 2 weeks ago.
FJI Rocks T. What brought you back to Florida?
A bunch of things, but mostly it was to be with my parents because my father has full dementia. It needs 24-hour care, which we've got for him. But it's generally usually just one person here, and sometimes they need help. And there's a lot of things that I've been able to do and assist with my family around the house. And, there are a bunch of other reasons too, but that's the main one. I mean, let's talk about another good reason, when I lived in California as a resident, I had to pay income tax, which I was already paying for the IRS. So I was paying the IRS all this money, and then California was taking about a third extra on top of what the federal government was already taking from me in income tax. So I was getting double taxed.
FJI Rocks T.
Double taxed on my income.
I love that. My PS have AS on the West Coast. Ian just missed them, luckily.
Yeah, I'm glad. Yeah. Well, another one's on its way. We're going to get hit here tomorrow. Category 1. Yeah.
FJI Rocks T. Taxes suck in the blue states, I feel that.
$19,368 Bitcoin. And if you look at the altcoins, they've all stayed up. Polygon, Matic, they've all retained their value. This is the altcoin season. Another coin dipped, FTX, FTT or something like that. The guy that I guess owns
Billy
it,
Ballantyne.
he made an announcement on Twitter. He was
May
going to
moves
dump
back
a
to
bunch
Florida
of
to
shares.
fulfill a contract
So
with the NSA to chase bears out of the
dump the
state.
price. Everybody starts selling all
He's
their
a
shit.
hero now. That's the real story. Hashtag fuck bears back.
Still learning how to chase bears. I've got a bear chasing dog though. So
FJI Rocks T.
let's read through some of these tweets.
LMAO.
Look at this, what this one says right here. My prediction for tonight's election, Ron DeSantis is still a raggedy bitch. That's funny. Ron DeSantis is the most dangerous extreme candidate in this country. It's our responsibility to make sure he doesn't get 4 more years.
FJI rocks
17.5.
Give my bare arms.
Rick Wilson says there is no GOP primary. Stop imagining a white very night riding to the rescue. You think a mumbling podge like Ron DeSantis wants to have Trump jape and caper while beating him to death in debate after debate after debate? If they talk him into running, it's malpractice. Okay. Wow, you guys should read this one. This is the kind of shit that I've exposed on from Truthier News, Matt Gaetz. So this is the girl. Okay, so I'll read it to you. Breaking: Rebecca Jones, the COVID scientist who Ron DeSantis fired for exposing the true numbers of COVID deaths in Florida, is running neck and neck against accused child sex trafficker and MAGA Congressman Matt Gaetz. Retweet if you support Rebecca Jones against Matt Gaetz. So that's got a lot of retweets. That's good. These are horrible, horrible people, man. I didn't realize Matt Gaetz was still running. He's such an idiot. Ron DeSantis has 13,700 likes on a tweet from 15 hours ago. It says, Florida protects children and supports parents. We will not allow for the sexualization of young students, and we will not allow school officials to replace the role of parents. Florida fights back. Required school districts to adopt procedures for notifying parents if there is a change in services from the school regarding a child's mental, emotional, or physical health or well-being. Prohibited instruction about sexual orientation or gender identity in K-3 classrooms, and such instruction must be age-appropriate in grades 4 through 12. Ensured that parents will be notified about healthcare services offered at the school with the right to decline any service offered. Ensured that parents must first receive and be given permission to administer any questionnaire or health screening intended for K-3 students. Parents' rights have been hijacked in an effort to sexualize students. In Leon County, Florida, a family filed suit on behalf of a Tallahassee couple regarding LGBTQ policies that excluded parents from conversations about their children's gender identity. The district superintendent apologized and admitted the school's fault. 6 Florida school districts had actual school board approved guidance for transition planning that allowed these conversations to occur without parents' consent or knowledge. Broward, Hillsborough, Miami-Dade, Palm Beach, Sarasota, and Volusia, and another district, Martin County, pulled its unadopted policy from their website after public backlash. Found in Florida. I can't really see this. The gendered person, who I was, genderqueer. So, okay, what I'm thinking I'm seeing here are some sorts of pamphlets that are aimed towards children, but I'd have to look at those. and see where it just says found in Florida. I mean, are they, if you go into a clinic or a doctor's office where they're doing gender therapy, is that where you would find that information? You know? If a child is in 3rd grade and they have questions and they want to read something like that, is that okay for them to read something like that? Third grade. It's not a 3-year-old. It's 3rd grade. So it's interesting. He thinks he's winning people over with that. He's only got 13,700. You know, in the state of Florida, when you're the governor and you've only got 13,700 likes, that's not a lot of support. This was put up 15 hours ago during an election. He's one of the most watched people on Twitter right now. You know, I don't see a lot of support there. Charlie Crist has got 12,900 likes just to say today's the day we vote Ron DeSantis out. He's got 17,500 likes on another tweet from November 6th. This one was from 13,000 likes. This is from an hour ago. 13,000 likes in an hour. Ron DeSantis, 13,000 likes in 15 hours. So right now, Charlie Crist is ratioing Ron DeSantis on this topic. I wonder how many people are arguing. Huh. That's a funny meme. About a week ago, I spent millions of your tax dollars to fuck over displaced people who needed help. And now I will fake disaster empathy. That's funny. Oh my God. That is so funny. How many people have liked this? 3,219 views. Oh, my mom would love this. I'm retweeting it. Oh my God, my mom's going to laugh her ass off when she sees that. So this Kristen Tinsky right here says, I'm a transgender woman and mom. When my daughter goes to school, does she have to lie about me? I'm going to cut my hair. and look like this. What do you think? Short hair, nay. You guys ready for it? So, this is if you do not vote, these people will be in charge. Oh, that's fucking funny. Cute memes, man. There's a lot of cute memes out there. The snake is the one in the blue jacket, it says. They're holding the snake.
Big Merc 83. I'll catch midday show need phone.
All right, you guys take care. I'm out of here. It's been awesome. Peace, everybody.